guys. We're doing the 5th episode of Ran Out of Talent. I'm Joe. With me is Greg and Marshall.
Hi.
Hello, hello.
I'm sure y'all know us by now. Should we just jump right into this thing and get going?
I would say so.
All right. Well, we'll start out with Super Saturday Electric Series results because, on July 27th, we had a makeup race at North Branch.
Or attempted to.
We had to make it up for rain at the previous June one. It was supposed to be a clear and sunny day. Then all of a sudden, I'm blaming Canada for this one.
I'm okay with that.
Because a cell came up from Canada to the tip of North Branch and moved straight south.
Thunder Bay, why you gotta be like that?
Yeah.
What did we do, eh?
How often do you see a cell move straight south?
I found out that there was one good thing about Canada, though, over the week. So, the weirdest thing, when you go to Canada and you order a burger and fries, they ask you if you want gravy with that.
Whoa.
Where the heck is this? The first time my jaw like hit the floor. It's like, what do you mean gravy? What are you talking about?
Who would say no?
Yeah,
is my question.
Yeah, and then there was this other thing. Well, do you want cheese curds on top of it?
Yeah, poutine.
Well,
fries,
of course.
Poutine. Had you heard of poutine before you went up there?
Before I went there.
Poutine is awesome. You can get it here.
Oh, you can?
Yes. Burger Jones in South Minneapolis, right across the street from Calhoun. It's dialed. You got to go get it.
Oh,
cheese curds and gravy on top of fries.
The rest of their food really wasn't very good.
Okay, that's too bad. Did you have back bacon?
No.
Okay.
Oh.
Gotta have back bacon.
Oh, I must have missed that.
Yep.
So I had microbreweries and poutine.
Nice. Yeah. And some Elsinore.
Yeah.
But anyways, at North Branch, we did the results off of 2 rounds we were kind of able to get in. Kind of. Pete Moss, first it wasn't supposed to rain, so we calciumed the track. That turned out to be
unfortunate.
It was very unfortunate, because I'll tell you what, the second I got home Saturday, I started tearing apart my cars, and I couldn't stop the rust on the shock springs. Some of the screws have a little bit of surface rust on them, but it's just more of a visual. But I was able to stop the rust, but if you let your car sit, you are in trouble.
That's surprising to me, because the big bore springs have an oxide coating on them, so that shouldn't have happened.
You know what's nice about it, though? The associated springs rusted, but they only cost $3.50 a pair.
Yeah.
On my Laser, I had Kyosho springs rust. They were $20 a pair to replace.
Ouch.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, it was ridiculous. Yeah. So we'll talk about Sportsman. On the makeup race, Kyle Proske, Newcomer, he's been in it for about a month. He's hit the Minnesota Nitro Series and all that. He's been doing pretty well. He didn't want to race Sportsman, but he had a short course buggy, and we didn't have a class for it. So he was new, so I allowed him to race short course buggy and Pro 4. I was going to make a rule about Sportsman saying if you race another class, you can't race Sportsman. But I'm left that up to a judgment call. If you look at the driver, and if he enters another class because he really wants the wheel time, and if he's not a hack and stays out of the way, who am I to judge? And let him run it.
I'd say that's a good call.
I mean, like my brother-in-law is a perfect example. He started out this winter with a 4-wheel drive modified buggy. I begged him to get a stadium truck. I begged him. But he wanted to get a 4 mod. Okay, cool. He's been getting way better.
Yep.
But then for his birthday, my dad gave him the Kyosho truck.
Okay.
And so I allowed him to run Sportsman and 4 mod.
Okay.
He ended up brother-in-law Brian Olson ended up taking 4th in Sportsman behind Aaron Grovem and Dylan Grovem. They took 2nd and 3rd overall. The Grovem family is they just popped up, and they've been signing up through Facebook, the Family Races Sportsman, and they've been doing pretty well. They did very well yesterday. We'll talk about that when we get to the next race results.
Cool.
Blinky Stock Buggy A Main, we only had 6 of them show up. Kyle Holmberg won it, and again, this is under qualifying. And Greg Gerton second, Anthony Z. Stratton third, Senior fourth, Scotty Shuttle fifth, Campbell sixth.
As the results are being read there, Gerton's sitting here shaking his head. I think he's a little upset.
Yeah. I would have liked another run on that.
You know what? I love it. Kyle Holmberg's just running stock buggy for fun, and he's crushing you all.
Crushing by less than 1 second yesterday?
I shouldn't say crushing. He's beating you.
Crushing.
All. He's beating you all. He got the TQ in Starbuck. He got the TQ in North Branch, and he got the TQ yesterday.
I think I'm going to start calling him Cherry Picker.
Yeah, that's 3 points.
Yeah, he's doing well.
That's 3 valuable points.
Yeah.
So let's go to the Pro 4. Scott McTaggart bringing out the Techno again. He won the qualifying. There were no mains. Tim Brown second, Mike Luxick third. Scotty Shuttle, Kelly Roberts, Sherry Potter, Kyle Proske, and Jay Hedstrom. Jay Hedstrom's another new guy. He's just been buying RC stuff like crazy, racing it everywhere he can. He's been to a couple Minnesota Nitro Series races. And
want to give props to the Wisconsin guys for making the trip out too. So that's McTaggart, Shuttle, and
Potter.
Potter made the trip out. Haven't seen him in a while.
Yep.
Soup showed up,
yep.
And really good to see those guys. Always enjoy racing with them, and I felt bad that they came out for a wet day, but they were making the best of it.
I know.
Hey, how'd I beat you, Marshall?
Yeah, we're talking about 2-wheel drive mod buggy.
Got to put the car on the track. That's
this stuff on the beat. Marshall never put his car on the track.
Yep.
Somehow Greg beat him. I don't think Greg ever put his car on the track either.
I think I'm going to talk to the race organizers about this because that's BS and that is not acceptable.
Well, how are you going to figure out a tie for last place?
I did. No, I did run my mod
buggy.
You
ran your mod buggy?
No, I didn't run mod truck. I ran one qualifying in mod buggy.
Josh Gutowski got his brand new B4.2 muddier than muddy and clicked BQ'd. And so then we'll go to the technically, I had to just quick run through the mains, just hit start, save, so they technically bumped the A, but they didn't get any more points.
Okay.
Then it's John Huntner took 8th overall, Josh Sinclair took 7th overall, Kyle Holmberg 6th, Dan Hammond 5th, Hunter Holmberg 4th. I want to talk about that kid when we get to the Duluth race. John Weed 3rd, Craig Kruger 2nd, Neil Fenice took the overall win.
There we go.
Team Associated top 2.
That's what we like to see around here.
Top 3 were Associated, but John Weed is Phantom. He doesn't have a off-road sponsor.
He's got the correct chassis, though. That's the important thing here.
Yep. Pro 2 was just John Huttner, won it. Taylor Fitzgerald second. Trevor Graybow. I don't know. Graybow.
Yeah.
Third, Stefan Benende. Fourth, Jay Hedstrom. Fifth. Mod Truck was a huge showing. I wish we could have ran it. Well, not huge. There were 15. That's a pretty good turnout. Taylor Fitzgerald BQ. Tim Sletton took second with he was running Justin's truck.
Okay.
Because that was really the only thing he wanted to run that we had a class for. He didn't want to run Tony's buggy.
Okay.
Then it was you.
Congratulations, Tim Sletton. You beat me.
Yeah.
Well done, sir.
Yeah.
Great job.
Then is Dan Hammond qualified fourth in the A or fourth in the B, excuse me.
So all of these here didn't run.
Yep.
So how'd I end up way down here?
This is payback for the whole two-wheel mod thing.
Yeah. It all figured itself out. I don't know how RC Scoring Pro figures out results when nobody runs. It might just be a toss-up. They might just say, well, he goes here and he goes here. Craig Kruger TQ'd in one mod truck, A main. Lucas second. Neil Fenice third. John Weed 4th. Kyle Holmberg 5th. Hunter Holmberg 6th, John Click 7th, and Scotty Shuttle rounding out the A main.
Well, not all of them. Oh, that's right. There's two bumps in there.
Two bumps, yeah.
My bad.
Yep. Mod Buggy B. This is what's frustrating me. So I needed, or four-wheel drive Mod Buggy, I needed a good run. So I went out there, very last run of the day. Track was muddy, but it was fun. There's a picture.
This is when I had that picture of it.
There's a picture on Greg Gerton's Facebook page. You know, people joke on a muddy track where, you can't even tell the color. My car was pure brown. You could not see a spot of any other color on it. My car was fantastic on it, though. It was like running on carpet. It was a lot of fun. Not worth it. Let me say it. Not worth it.
Okay.
But it was fun. I was on a quick 9-lap pace, which is fast on North Branch because we were running 5-minute quals trying to beat the rain. And I was on a quick 9-lap pace, and my CVA rear drive shaft, the pin, popped out.
Oh, okay.
But Stefan B queued. I took second in the B. Jay Campbell third. Brian Olson fourth, and as Anthony, and then Marshall again because Marshall didn't run. Then Mike Dennis took 8th overall with the X-ray. His boy Brandon out-qualified him. He took 7th overall. Then it's Kelly Robertson 6th, Josh Sinclair 5th, Clayton 4th, Soup 3rd, Senior 2nd, and John Hutner TQ'd that, so he won. And that's a makeup race. I mean, I'll tell you what, Pete Moss really would have worked well if it would have stopped raining to soak that stuff up, because that's what kept the track firm. So let's go right into Proctor. Now, before we start results, they tried something a little different around here. For track prep, instead of using calcium, they used wood glue. They mixed it 10-1, sprayed it down. It was a very good dust control, and the track grooved up well. The only real complaint was tire wear, but I think everybody was caught a little bit off guard by it, because I don't think everybody had clay tires with them.
Well, from my perspective, and I've got to preface this by saying I didn't get there until round 1 was done, so I got no practice, didn't get to run round 1. But from what I was seeing in the time I had up there, there was more grip than I expected. I think there was more grip there than last year when they treated the track with calcium chloride. So that part was really good. And the parts of the track that were clean were very high grip. But there were two schools of thought on what should be done for tires, and I'll focus on two-wheel because truck and four-wheel were different beasts altogether. But for two-wheel, you either went out on AKA Impact Super Softs and just assumed that you were going to one-run the tires, and I did that, and they worked, but you were replacing tires every run. Or you could go out on a clay compound or like a J Concepts orange compound, and you could get more runs out of them, but I'm not sure if they were as fast. So I think if we had more time to run on that surface, we'd figure it out. I'm thinking maybe something like an M3 Pro Line, M2 Pro Line, possibly.
What about the MC?
MC might work. I couldn't really get a feel for whether clay compound tires would work there, but they might because the grip was so high. It just takes some more testing, and I'm sure it would get figured out.
And that was the second race on that layout. That was a very fresh layout, too.
Yeah, that's one of those things. A big race coming to Proctor. Bullock got out there and changed the layup a little bit, and it just takes time for everything to settle in. They actually ran in somebody. They call their little bobcat thing Wally up there. Somebody stole Wally's blade, so they had a blade for it, and that's what they usually use to smooth it out. Somebody stole it.
That sucks. Okay, so that explains the bumps then.
So that was where some of the bumps they just weren't able to smooth out after getting the bobcat on the track.
Right. Okay.
It's unfortunate because I really think if it was a little smoother, that would have been pretty insane.
The layout
was really good.
The layout was fun. The only thing I disliked were the jumps on the straightaway. I've never liked jumps on the straightaway.
That was your dad, I think, made the couple comments about those jumps. He wasn't fond of those.
Should we say what they call
them?
No.
I don't think we should get into
I know
that.
my truck got upset more than once going over the first one, because basically I was trying to carry speed coming onto the straightaway, and I was still kind of drifting left as I hit that first jump. So the truck kind of gets sideways, you're going high speed, and the truck just...
And by the time truck ran, it was still really dusty again.
Yeah.
And it just needed to be... I think the third qual, when we blew it off twice, that really helped, and almost even a couple more. It really would have helped, I think, groove it up a little bit better.
I mean, time wasn't an issue because we were cooking through the day in a pretty good...
Yeah, you were.
Marshall came late. Yeah, you probably weren't liking that.
I did everything possible to make my day difficult, and I succeeded spectacularly. So I won that competition.
Well, clock instead of 10:45.
Right.
And that really kind of helped out.
Right.
I like the overall way the day ran, though. It just...
I still owe you $5.
Oh, there it is. Thank you.
There you go.
Nice.
But we just... The idea of being done, the fact that we were able to go get a beer and a burger after the race, it made it a lot more fun.
Yeah.
It was nice. I got all the way back to Minneapolis by sundown, so that was nice.
Yeah.
And that's after a 2.5-hour drive from Duluth. So.
Right.
Yep. But I definitely.
Another thing on the wood glue, it's something a little different than calcium too, because I think the more you reapply it, the better it's going to get.
Yep.
I think that traction is just going to get better and better the more they do that.
I was a little surprised at the traction level, to the point there. I mean, even when I went out my first run on it in two-wheel in round 2, I traction rolled at the end of the straightaway.
Yeah.
Just I went to turn and the car just went nuts, and I was pulling wheelies at spots, and so were others. So I'm intrigued by this. I think the wood glue is really promising. I think that there's probably going to have to be some more experience with it, because I wouldn't want to see tracks get to the point where we're traction rolling everywhere.
Yeah.
No.
But I think from the standpoint of getting a track consistent with enough grip that you can race on it, I think it's very promising.
Trucks
in that
were
way.
pulling wheelies at will.
Oh yeah, Steve was pulling wheelies everywhere. So was I. I'm
yeah.
sure Craig was. I'm sure everybody was pulling wheelies, and that's kind of. Well, it's a little absurd for off-road, but that's kind of the tires have gotten that good that we're just kind of to that.
That's one of those too. All the big races, they're doing the sugar, or you got the calcium on the nitro series.
Yeah.
But every option you have is a risk of rusting the car,
except glue.
Except for glue, and I think the overall results were really good. Now,
hold on real quick. They're also looking at something called Rhino Stop, but we'll get into that in a minute or two.
That's a little bit more expensive.
Yeah.
But
so
that won't rust the car, but what it does is it binds the dirt, and what it's really good for is outdoor tracks where it rains. Because if it rains, you go out and you squeegee it, and it's ready to go in 5 minutes. But I don't think Duluth can handle the tire wear.
But it's almost a cement. Yeah, a Duluth. Yeah. Well, the problem is that if you get the right compound tire, from what I was told, they last a really long time.
Not really long.
Well,
but you got to look at some of the people in Proctor. They want to get a whole season out of their tires.
And that's where the wood glue isn't going to affect.
Yep, they keep it wet on Thursday nights.
I think what the point you got to get to is you either run full loam so that the dirt gets out of the way of the tire pin basically, or you get to a point where you get no wheel spin to cut down on tire wear. Because a lot of the wear we saw yesterday was, even though the traction was very good where the track was clean, there was still get wheel spin. That's where your pins go.
Yeah.
So.
Especially after the triple.
Right, yeah, that was really tricky.
Yeah,
that was really tricky.
It was tricky with the four-wheel drive buggy, I think.
Although I did finally start to learn a lesson that I've had to try to teach myself for years. Don't land with your wheels turned. That's a mistake I've made for years and years and years, and it made me crazy. But with the focused lesson that I was being given yesterday, land with the wheels straight and just let Give yourself a couple 3 seconds to see what the car is going to do, and then react.
That would have to be difficult to try to teach yourself that with all the off-camber jumps and the turns they had and all that. You're turning and jumping.
Well, it was mainly that triple where it's like, okay, Marshall, you must land with your wheels straight. Stop trying to correct and land.
Which actually, and it was different because the fast line or the safe line was definitely not the same as you'd see like Lundahl spinning around that corner. And it took some serious skill to be able to do that every single lap.
For sure.
But that part of you got on the track layout, the off camber kind of twisties in the air.
That's
you had the car sideways.
I love that stuff.
I'm not to the skill level of being able to twist and turn the car on my own. But for a jump like that, I could do it.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a blast to see the car kind of flying through the air.
I like that kind of high-speed table that they had going into that easy 90.
Yeah.
To where you totally mostly skip the table, but you ride the side of it.
Yeah.
That was...
Okay.
Some people still just did the jumple.
You could still be fast with the jump. No, what you'd have to do to be fast if you took the table, you'd have to hit it hard and pray you got that next corner right.
Yeah. That was kind of like a Sean Van Dalen jump there.
Yeah, I could totally see him doing something like that. Yeah, absolutely.
You turn in the air and.
Oh yeah, more than once, both my truck and my four-wheel, I was just kind of clipping the inside of that table, and this was not intentional, but it was working out that way. I'd clip it, and the car would kind of whip and land the backside of that thing just right, and it's like, okay, I made it that lap. See what happens next time, because I was aiming for that gap between the table and the pipe, but it was very hard to hit.
And this was like that one race that Mother Nature just gave us the best day we could have. No real weather issues. The only thing that could have made the track any better is maybe a little bit more sun.
And at the start of the second round, I was looking up at the sky from the booth, and I didn't see the whole thing, but I saw a gray, dark cloud.
Yeah, we saw that too. It's like, oh, here comes the rain. I'm like, I brought it again. I'm sorry.
I was about to have a serious nervous breakdown there. But it wasn't. But I got out of the booth and saw, it's not that big. It's not going to bring the rain. But it looked like it was going to bring the rain for a split second. It's like, and it was coming right over the track.
It was a beautiful day. For racing.
It was awesome.
It was absolutely gorgeous.
Was it 74?
Yeah.
70. Mostly sunny.
Light breeze.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, that's a to me, in my experience, that's a rare day for Proctor.
It is.
You just get all sorts of weird stuff going on there at the top.
We've got lucky the last couple of years there.
Yep.
Yeah, chill on the hill. I'm expecting snow.
Well, that's normal.
That's great.
What compound do you use for that?
You use European tires.
Right. Here come the Schumachers.
Yep. All right, let's talk about the results. Sportsman A, Maine, the Grovem family swept it. Dylan Grovem won that one. He got a last lap pass on, I assume, is his brother Aaron. And then Luann, I think is the mom, took third.
Okay.
Then Karen DeGrave fourth and Carrie Dennis fifth. But what I like to see with the sportsmen, after they're done marshalling, they all went up and looked at the results. And they weren't talking about, did you see that cool crash? Did you see this or that? They were looking at the results. And I did much better that round. You see here on this lap was that much faster, and my average was this much better.
Good.
That's pretty cool to see out of a sportsman.
Studying. Yeah, they're studying. That's neat.
Yeah. Next was Blinky Stock Buggy A Main. Kyle Holmberg beat Greg Gerton here by 0.8 of a second.
Wah, wah.
I waited until like 2.5 laps left, and that's when I decided I'm going to put the pressure on.
Yep.
And
how'd that go?
I should have probably done it a little earlier.
Okay.
Yep.
I had a very fast car, so he wasn't pulling away by any means, but he ran exactly the way he needed to.
In stock,
nice and smooth.
Kyle doesn't make many mistakes in stock.
See, and I was counting on the bumpy track that he would screw up. I was like, I'm not even going to push it. I'm just going to stay right there.
He's a motocross rider, right?
Whatever.
That does translate pretty well into RC.
We talked about this. I talked about it with Senior. He cheats because
Really?
He's too young.
He cheats. He's
His
too young.
eyes-
He's too young.
Yes,
Oh.
he is.
because there's
eye hand coordination steroids.
because there's line items in the rule set that talk about age.
It's age. He's just too young.
That's one of the more interesting theories I've ever heard.
Poke him in one of his eyes before he starts leaving it out.
That's it. It's that eye-hand coordination. He's too fast.
He hasn't cheated. You've been cheated by Father Time. How about that?
Maybe that's it. No, he's ran great. It's been a lot of fun having him in there to push it.
Definitely.
Senior Jabbers make the last few races. He's always fast out at trackside.
Yeah, that's one of the things. My old man and I were having a conversation on the way home about Jabber. He acts like he doesn't race a lot, but I bet when he was in Madison, he was at trackside a ton.
He really enjoys the type of racing that's at trackside.
He enjoys stock racing.
He does, and I think he gets typecast a lot to the on-road thing.
Yep.
The part that he has the most trouble with is the bumps.
Yeah.
It's not the jumps. It's not off-road. It's just the really rutted out, bumpy tracks.
Yep.
And if he gets on a smooth track, he can be very fast.
Yeah. But Jabber and Senior had a really good battle for third and fourth.
Wow.
Right at the line, Jabber almost made another lap. He missed it by .006. Jabber ended up in third, beat Senior by 7/10 in fourth. Adam Vink coming to his...
And that's another
cool.
neat one to see again.
Yeah.
Normally an on-road driver showed up in a stock buggy.
Yeah, he made the trip he's from Eau Claire, isn't he? Or is it
Yeah.
La Crosse?
Yeah. No, it's Eau Claire.
Eau Claire, yeah.
Yeah, really glad to see him make the trip. That was very cool.
Yeah, and he really enjoys the Superior
And
track,
at this
too.
point, I don't know that he ever listens to this, but if he does, the B4 isn't worth anything anymore.
Just keep it.
Because you don't have the big bores, you don't have all the fancy updates. I think you should just keep it for the one time a year.
You know what? If you sell it, it might get you a couple cases of beer. That's not good enough. Kevin Lamont came in sixth, yet, I mean, that was another close battle between Kevin Lamont and Adam Vink. I think that one was a last lap deal, too.
Yep.
Really close racing coming up in stock buggy. Kevin Lamont, I mean, I've seen him before up in... I think he is a
He
Duluth
runs
guy.
up there all the time. He's one of the guys from the mine.
You know, it's
area.
funny. He comes and he's like,
Yeah.
all I
Range,
have...
Yeah, that's it.
Yep. He goes, all I have for my four-wheel buggy is fuzzies. He's like, well, first he's talking about rear sway bars.
Oh, he's the guy with the triple X4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Got it. Okay.
He had that other four-wheel drive car too.
I didn't see that one. I just saw the triple
yeah.
X4.
Oh, he had the Losi four-wheel drive.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oh, is that what
X4.
you're saying? Triple X4.
Yeah,
I'm
Losi
sorry.
triple X4. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know all the Losi cars.
well, he was out there. He was out there having problems during practice, and I'm like, well, I got a brand new set of double Ds. I'll sell you. You know, I'm saving my impacts for myself. Sold him a brand new set of double Ds. He beats me out of the set. I resorted after the first round. You know, he had a mediocre first round, and then the second round, he had a good 14 lap running. Bumps me out of the fast heat. I'm like, why did I sell this guy tires?
He is actually a fairly fast driver.
Yeah, he's
when
a
he
pretty
sits
good
down.
driver. And he had a triple X4, and he was mid-pack with the brand new X-Rays, B44.2s, Kyoshos. That's pretty good. But
it was neat run
Yep.
in the A main. You look at all the different battles that there were. It was pretty fun.
Yep. And just so everybody knows, I have all the results posted on RC Tech under Minnesota, but you got to go under that silly little sub-forum, the events and results thing that they got.
Cue the rant.
No more. No, I ranted about that 2 years ago when they made it. And
You post them on the Facebook page too, don't you?
I post a link
Oh.
to the RC Tech deal.
Can't you upload PDFs to Facebook?
I'm sure I could. But anyways, Gary Ponus 7th, Derek Rupert 8th. I think Derek Rupert was the one blowing off the track in between each round. He's that long-haired kid. That was pretty cool. Then it was Hesh, Randy Bennett, and Jay Campbell.
Hesh was awake for this main.
Did Hesh drive his own car the whole time this time?
Oh, I think so.
Okay,
but
he passed out for the next one.
Yeah, he was passed out for Mod 4, which was Pro 4. Want to talk about this? Big props to Mike Luxick. That is his first race win.
Is it really?
Ever.
Awesome. Good for him.
Yeah,
there you go, Mike. Awesome.
Definitely. He comes up to me. He's like, "Can I take the results?" I'm looking at him where you're like, "Yeah." I mean, he's like, "That's the first time I ever won a race." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Well, when I won the point series at the Minnesota Nitro Series, I think he was talking about gas trucks. He got straight seconds."
Okay. Okay.
So real good for him.
Way to go, Mike.
Yeah, definitely. Joe Chavine, he's a local Proctor guy, taking second. Kelly Roberts third. He converted his Caster 4-wheel drive nitro buggy into a Pro 4, and he's actually doing pretty well with it. Aaron Vierke took fourth.
All the background noise is the dog with a bone, by the way.
Yeah, our fourth member taking Eric Swanson's chair.
This is Miko, the talent dog.
Yeah.
He never runs out of talent.
Yeah.
But he does make noise.
Yep. But anyways, Aaron Vierke took fourth, Tim Brown fifth, Derek Rupert sixth, and Bruce Vierke seventh. Then the next class, Mod Buggy, A-Main. I ran all 12 because they were all pretty decent drivers.
And for that, I thank you.
Yeah. For
really
you, it got you into the A, but I'm sorry I didn't do it for you.
That's fine.
I'm
results oriented. I don't care how we get there.
I looked at the group of drivers, and I'm like, they are all decent drivers, and they'll all get out of the way if they need to. They're clean.
Yeah, the track's plenty big for that. I mean, there was no issue. So
Chad Lindahl won that one. Steve Nelson second. There was a really good four-way battle for a while between Chad, Steve, Neil, and Hunter. At one point, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Hunter Holmberg was knocking into the back of Lindahl's wing. Like,
I heard about
Get the F out of my way. I'm like, wow!
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, he had a bobble and ended up fifth, but that's still pretty darn... But it's like, holy crap. I mean, it's like, I really wish he'd dial it back 5%. I can't tell. Nobody can tell him he's doing it though.
No, everybody tells him he doesn't listen.
Yeah, everybody tells him, but you know what?
He's 15.
Yeah, he's 15. You gotta look at that too.
No, that's great, and he's driving very well.
Yeah, he's driving for how long he's been racing for. It's kind of getting scary. But anyways, Chad won that one. Steve Nelson second. Steve and Chad were battling out pretty good for most of the race. Steve led a lot. He had a little bit of a bobble.
On Hunter again, you look top 5, 25-2. He's definitely the fastest top 5 on there.
Yep. Well, look at the fast lap. He had the second fastest lap.
Neil had a heater. 24.6 with a 2-wheel, which is pretty impressive.
Third fast lap. I didn't see the 24.6. Yeah. Neil Fenice ended up third.
But that's the kind of stuff that you need, Hunter. You look at that top 5, and that's impressive. Now you need to just kind of keep stringing that together with the consistency.
Exactly, and that's the thing. He's always had the fast lap, but he has always been in 10. Yeah. Now he's strung together 2/3 of a race.
Yep. No, it was impressive.
You know, it's then Craig Kruger 4th, Hunter Holmberg 5th, John Weeda 6th. It's funny. John Weeda and Craig Kruger came up to me after qualifying was done and I posted the mains. They said, "You got this completely wrong. You still have it on Rocket Round." I'm like, "No." Well, John Weeda forgot that he TQ'd around.
Oh, okay.
And I think he ended up second overall. And they're like, and I had to reprint the points and show them, but you know, people forget the way qual points work. You know, 0 for first, 2 for second, 4 for
3 for third, 4 for fourth.
I thought it was 4.
Well, it might not be your program set up that way, but generally it's 0 for the TQ.
Yep.
Then 2 for second, 3 for third. So
you're correct.
Basically, get an extra bonus point.
Nope, you're correct. You're correct. That's the way it works. I just kind of.
See, you don't even know how qual points work.
I know how they work. I just look at them. I just look at them quick to make sure there's no snafus.
Yeah.
And But then it was Greg Girton 7th. Weren't you and Weeda battling? You and Weeda battled out there pretty good.
I had a racer who was battling at the top and was mad.
Who?
It doesn't matter. But I got a crash involved, and me, John, and a couple other people I think had a bunch of very interesting last lap. So John and I were
heard
battling
conversations
for fourth.
going on the driver's stand at the end of that race.
That was different with me and Craig, and that was a different situation.
Okay.
I took out Craig. I T-boned Craig, and maybe
It
I
happens.
did something wrong, but he landed the back jump going so the double that then turns right away.
Yep.
He landed the double, and his car spun sideways.
Okay.
I landed and hit him.
Okay.
Right there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I can't.
There's
I
that
have
you
no
can
air
do.
brakes.
Right.
Yeah.
He thought that because I T-boned him, I should stop, and I kept driving. I am sorry I hit him,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I don't think that I could have done anything. I personally didn't think I did anything wrong there, but
It's and you know it's easy to start yelling when you're on the driver's stand because you're fired up. I mean, that's
Yeah.
why we
Yeah.
do this to
Yeah.
actually
Well, and Craig-
feel something so
Yeah.
you feel like you're alive.
and
Yeah.
Craig's competitive. I'm competitive, and
It happens.
and I'm quiet.
You
so
know.
Well, and you know, the flip side is I blasted you in one of the
Yeah.
qualifiers,
Yeah.
and we didn't.
I have
talk, you know,
of you
blasting somebody.
blasting Girton.
yeah,
There it
that
is.
was
There it
on
is.
RC Tech earlier or Facebook.
From yesterday?
No, this
No,
was
the
from
one
the
from
very
earlier,
turn.
yeah.
Yeah, that was at the hairpin on beep beep. You know, I think you drove away from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was
Must
fine.
have.
Nothing got hurt
Yeah.
there. Same
But
thing.
it is a great picture.
It happened yesterday either. I think I kind of rolled right out of it and kept going.
Yeah, I got you sideways and we
Yeah.
kind of wobbled for a
Yeah,
little bit.
so I don't think it really
Anyways,
turned into
it's-
much. It
Anyways,
was just the
sorry.
risky part.
That's fine.
But enough about me. What do you think about me?
Oh, I'm fine with it. You know what? Yesterday, and I have an advantage of, I don't really have a home track anymore, but that was my home track.
Right.
So, I really felt comfortable there.
Yep.
The driver's stand, everything about that track, I love that track.
It's a great place to race.
Dude, it creates close racing. I mean, look at that towards the back of the field and look at the whole A main. There's close racing. I mean, some of the finishing times don't show it, but there is a lot of the times a 5-way battle for the lead. I mean, you don't see that too often.
Yeah, in that main, there were, I think, 4 or 5 different guys I raced with against closely in that whole main.
Yeah, exactly.
The track layout was such that you could race people pretty well,
Big
get
lanes.
next to them, and there were places to pass and set up passes.
Yeah.
It was a really good layout.
Then it was Kyle Holmberg in 8th, Josh Sinclair 9th, Marshall here in 10th, Hutner 11th, then Gutowski 12th. Then coming up next, it was a Slash and also Pro 2A main.
I love that these were combined, by the way.
I had to. I mean, I couldn't run 2 Pro 2s and 5 Slashes. That would have been silly. So winning the Pro 2 and taking TQ was Hunter Holmberg, and then John Hutner took 2nd. Then taken 3rd overall, but he TQ'd and won the Slash class was Aaron Vierke. Then it was Ed Z. He pronounced it a couple times for me, and I just don't even know. But he took 2nd in the Slash class and 4th overall. Then it was Zet Bennett, 3rd in the Slash class, 5th overall. Bruce Vierke, and then Joe Kalinowski. Joe Kalinowski is the one who's been putting in the Bobcat work at Duluth.
Okay.
He's the guy there with the long hair.
So that answers the question I had. I wasn't sure if Bullitt was having to build that track by himself or if he was getting help.
He's getting some help now.
Okay.
It's still,
Yeah.
I mean, Bullet runs pretty much everything up
Bullet
there.
got help with the Bobcat from Joe.
Okay.
And he got
Gary runs everything,
Yep.
but Bullet does all
Oh
the
yeah,
work.
but Bullitt's the one out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
and then Bullet actually had his girlfriend come out with him to help with the track.
Okay.
And I've had to do that with Beth before. She has came out and helped with Starbuck a ton. Because, I mean, not many people are willing to come 2 hours, even if I drive them up there to build a track.
Right.
Yeah, especially when you got to pay $30 a class.
So, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
And the fight begins.
Nope. I'm done with it. I am done.
So anyway,
I had to turn the page.
How about that? How about that
I was
modified
boiling.
truck B main? How about
Modified truck B main. Bumping up from the B was Clayton Cartluca. He won it. Jabber took second, also bumping up from the B. Because we take the top two. Then it was Bullet third. Steve Nelson fourth. Steve was in position for a while, and then he started pulling wheelies with his truck and whatever.
He had a couple of bobbles, and
Yep.
you know it's really hard to run on the edge on that track when
Yep.
it's bumpy, and sometimes you
he-
just snap. And
Yep.
He kind of mentioned, I don't know, maybe it sounded like there might have been something wrong with his truck too.
Yep.
So
he was struggling with setup on his truck the whole day, and he went out on that last run, put a short battery pack in the truck, put pin tires on the front, and just really.
You running shorty
mixed it
in
up.
your truck?
I always run shorty in my truck.
Okay.
So he tried that, and the truck was pulling wheelies everywhere, and had pin tires on the front. He said the truck was okay, but it's still he wasn't real comfortable with it.
one thing here with the B,
There's a lot of
Jabber and
talent
Bullet
there.
had a really good race going
Yep,
there.
they did.
Yeah.
And I'd like to point out, John actually had a decent day. He's getting better.
John, if you look at his fast
So-
lap in comparison, he's usually, because he was last year's sportsman winner, he's usually 4 to 5 seconds off on fast lap, and he was about, I'd say, 2.5, well, he got
He
a
definitely
27.
closed the gap a little bit
He's
more.
closing the gap, and that is good to see.
Yeah,
Cool.
He keeps making jumps like that.
You got to make him pay for that M11.
Well, he told me last night, no, he doesn't want it.
Are you kidding?
He won't buy it. $100 for a M11X and a receiver, and he won't buy it.
What's he got for a radio now?
Spectrum.
It was
It's a DX20 or something like
Yeah.
that.
John, seriously, if you're listening, do yourself a favor. That at least try it, because
I
Oh, he
paid-
has it. He used it.
Oh, you did?
I
Yeah.
pay you
I had it.
$75 a race to take pictures. Take some of that money.
He's 17 and he has a girlfriend.
Oh,
So all of his money goes to going out there, and he doesn't
Yeah.
care to. I've always
Nope.
given him everything.
you know what?
privacy.
You know what? You know what? I'll tell you what. When you're 17, there is nothing more powerful than a woman you have, let's say, fun with.
right.
I went really stupid when I was 17 in that aspect myself.
He,
I think we all did.
he right now, RC is. I think he enjoys coming right now more for the pictures than he does racing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you know what, though? He's there running. But think about, we look at it now being in our 30s and 40s, looking at a 17-year-old kid like, dude, your priorities are ass backwards, but everybody's...
They're not. They are what they are. Everybody's different.
He's
I mean,
got 17-year-old priorities,
That's fine.
And
And that's age appropriate, so
Exactly.
it's okay. It's
I don't
okay.
think he really understands either that $100 is a pretty fair price.
you
for
got
radio.
to understand how much $100 is to a 17-year-old.
Well, it'd be like somebody offering me a Bentley Continental R brand new for $50,000. It's like, man, that's cheap. It's like, well,
Still $50,000,
yeah.
So sure, I'm sure it's a great deal, but I can't take advantage of it.
Yep. Then John beat out Gary Pana there by 2 seconds, and it was Jay Campbell bringing up the rear of the field in 7th. And coming up to the A-main, Chad Lindahl won it. Neil Fenice took 2nd. Hunter Holmberg took 3rd. But there again, Hunter was knocking on the back wing of Lindahl for quite a while. It was literally a mistake or two he made. It was, and his transponder was screwing up. I had to bring him to the announcer's booth at the end of the race to make sure he wasn't off in line. I had to talk to a couple people because he does pop ball cups and stupid stuff like that. And his transponder was screwing up. Well, you know what? I can't say that. With this new decoder, it's the way the decoder mixes with the loop. It finds a transponder it does not like for one person.
Okay.
Like Starbucket was soup. But that was the loop that the decoder hooked to. At North Branch, soup was fine with the same exact decoder, different loop. It's weird. Well, the loop didn't like Hunter this time, and I've noticed that since we've been using it. It finds one person, and then when the race comes up, I'm just used to say, "Oh, you missed a lap here. Click plus." So
weird.
Yeah, dude, there's so much programming in that little box. That's why there's no pirated ones.
Okay.
You know, you can make the box for dirt cheap, but now figure out the programming.
Right.
But anyways, yeah, Hunter took third. Clayton, our bump guy, took fourth.
We had some chaos in this race.
There was.
A little bit.
Towards the middle, I remember a big, cluster off the trip, who's going to get the short end of the stick here. Then it was Kyle Holmberg 5th, Marshall here in 6th, Greg in 7th, Craig Kruger 8th, Jabber 9th, and Weed at 10th. Craig only took 8th because he popped a ball cup.
Yep.
Yeah, he would have been right up there.
John broke a C-hub, one of those carbon fiber C-hubs, I think.
Really?
He
broke the plate?
I think the plate broke.
Oof.
I'm still using the molded plastic, and
Okay.
that works great.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I think he may have been using, not to give any bad publicity, the Avid ones that you can raise and lower the, the screw height. I've broken 2 sets of those.
Holes in them? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a mod that some guys are doing too on the T4s where they take the camber link from the SC10 4x4
And he had
and use that because the ball studs are much larger. The tie rod ends are captured links.
and actually that's what he did have on his truck.
And the tie rods themselves are 4mm tie rods.
So maybe it's not the Avid deal. I don't know what he had to do it, but he did have the SC10 set up because he saw that on Steve's car.
Yeah, it's a really burly setup, but then now it's like anything else. When you strengthen the links, you move that stress somewhere else.
So the stress must have popped on the carbon fiber then.
I guess so, which is a shame. Because the whole idea is to stop breaking the rear end of the truck when you land sideways.
Those A-hubs, the plastic, do they offset differently than the carbon fiber?
Offset in what way?
Forward and back? Is the angle different?
No, they should be the same. They might be 1 or 2 millimeters different, maybe, but it shouldn't be significant.
Yep.
Because then I wonder if you're running that stronger rear end, maybe it'd be better to run the old plastic ones.
Maybe, because then at least you have the hub flex a little bit. So yeah, that's a possibility.
All right, next up is 4-wheel mod buggy. Clayton Cartluca won that. He was fast yesterday, man.
Yeah, he was doing really well.
I was asking him what he's using for tires, and he's giving me these weird combinations. Such as one race he was running blue 3Ds in the rear and M4 hole shots in the front. Yeah, just weird stuff. I'm like, okay.
Okay, all right.
And then I don't even know I quit asking him because I ain't even have any of these tires he was mentioning. I'm like, okay, whatever, And then I go to him, how was tire wear at the end of the main? I don't care. Because he won.
Yeah.
He TQ'd and won.
Yeah, he did very well.
Yeah. Josh Sinclair took second with the Schumacher. That Schumacher, okay, when I ran for Schumacher, the 4-wheel drive buggy was very good. It's the 2-wheel drive buggy that just put such a rotten taste in my mouth.
4-wheel drive is Schumacher's core competency.
Yep. And there's something to be said about belt drive. But, that's a whole nother discussion. Senior ended up third. He was knocking on the back door of Sinclair for a little bit, but he beat out Hutner in fourth, Mike Dennis fifth. Mike's running that X-Ray. Kevin Lamont sixth with the triple X4. And then Jay Campbell finishes seventh. He was the one who last one running. I finished eighth. I popped a ball cup traction rolling. Okay. I was traction rolling at will.
Really?
Yeah.
With what tires?
Soft, aka impacts.
Okay.
They were fast. But
Yep.
They were very, very touchy.
Okay.
I wish I had their clay compound, more of a medium.
Okay.
And then Kelly Roberts also broke. He took 9th. You took 10th. You broke out early. And then Brandon Dennis 11th. And Hesh was passed out, which is a good thing. Maybe.
So that's the end of
results.
Do we want to talk through points here quick?
Let's talk through a couple points battles.
Okay, because I'm kind of curious where everybody's at with the
this is with 2 drops. Sportsman doesn't matter because nobody's going to point out, which is kind of sucky. We've had sports, but I mean, Greg, you're in the lead by 10 points in front of Senior and Blinky Stock Buggy. You're pretty safe. Let's see what else we got. Pro 4, Tim Brown, if he shows up at Wheel Brokers, he's the only one that's going to point out in it. 2-wheel mod buggy. Craig Kruger is leading that one. By 4 points.
And that's including yesterday, huh?
Yep, that is including yesterday. This is with 2 drops. So nobody has any.
So if he makes, and it's the big deal, you have to make the next race.
Craig has to make the next race to be in the points, but he is leading 2-wheel mod right now by 4 points over Neil Fenice, and then John Weeda's in third, 4th, 1 point behind John Weeda, and then it just drops. Close. Yeah, it's pretty close for 2 mod. That's always been real close. Pro 2, John Huttner, he pointed out already. He's the only one that's going to point out. So all this crap, that's just a bunch of. All right, Mod Truck, Chad Lindahl's in the lead right now by 6 points over Neil Fenice. Marshall is in third, 2 points behind Neil. Craig's in fourth, 2 points behind Marshall. John Weeda's in fifth, 3 points behind Craig. Kyle Holmberg's in sixth, 1 point behind John Weeda. Clayton Cartluca's in seventh, 2 points behind Kyle Holmberg, and then in a tie with Hunter Holmberg for seventh and eighth. So there's not a real big competition for. I mean, there might be competition for win, but there could be position changes.
I think there will be. All I know is I got to thump Neil really good in truck next time, and it sounds like Chad won't be there. So,
well, that's a bummer.
Well, he can't make Pine City, huh?
No.
Oh,
that sounds like it. So, yeah, I think they're going to get really shuffled around.
Yeah, that means he's out of the points for everything then. Mm-hmm. If he can't make Pine City, he's out of the points for everything, and that's a bummer. He was last year's buggy and truck champion. Mm-hmm. Last year he won truck by 1 second from Chris Mckenzie. It came down to.
Yeah.
Chris hasn't made one race this year.
I think he's taking a break or
he's
quit.
I don't think he's quit. I think he's off doing other stuff. He
got a mountain bike.
Well, he graduated college, got his first real career track job.
Is he still with Bonner?
He's still working with Bonner. Yeah, he got a mountain bike, and he's just kind of off doing his getting used to adult life. So I hope we see him back soon.
Yeah.
He brings a lot of speed to races when he shows up.
Definitely.
It's cool
to
see him
fast.
out there. Yep.
So now let's talk about 4 mod. Clayton Cartluca is beating John Huttner by 2 points. Then Joser Senior's in third, 1 point behind John Huttner. Last year, the points between Huttner and Senior went to a tiebreaker. So that's good.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Marshall, you're in fourth, 2 points behind Senior.
Yep.
Then it drops off severely to be in Josh Sinclair. Josh Sinclair's in fifth, and I'm 1 point behind Josh Sinclair in sixth. And then it drops off from there. And then I think that's all we got for points that's important. I'll tell you what, I am very satisfied with the way four-wheel mod is picked up.
Yeah, it's get healthy again.
Yep.
The cars are just fun when you get them right. They're really fun.
They're fun. I mean, on a bigger track, there is way bigger chance you're going to break. I broke an A-arm yesterday, and I popped ball cup. Yeah. But I wouldn't have been. I mean, I would have. That's what I want to race.
Yep.
Vintage RC10 next year. But I also want to talk about first place awards at SSES. I want to do something different next year. Because unless you're a sportsman, this is a major consensus. Trophies suck.
Yeah, plaques are cool.
Yeah.
I always like plaques.
Yeah, so I'm going to do plaques.
Cool.
They're cheaper than trophies, and this is the way I'm going to do it. Winner of every class, I personally am going to pay their first entry to every race next year.
Wow. Okay.
No, see, I got a couple things happening. So I'm going to pay Johnny to take over the booth. My wife is going to do pictures, and I'm going to get a 50-50 bucket going like MNRC. Yep. That'll help take care of some of the cost.
Okay. And
stuff like that. So
then you're going to be like the absentee series owner and just kind of watching stuff from on high.
No,
as your minions run your race for you.
No, well, no, I'm going to be I'm going to be very much involved in that still, and I'm sure I'm still going to help out behind the mic. And also, I want to race 2 classes next year.
Okay.
I want to run RC10 spec and 4 mod.
Okay.
So there's no way I can do that behind the mic.
Right.
So anyways, that takes care of that. Let's talk about Minnesota Nitro Series round number 4 real quick. We got results if you can find them. It's on the Minnesota Nitro Series page.
That's your cue, tech guy.
Yeah, well, while we're waiting for the tech guy to bring the results up, I'd like to talk a little bit about the track. Sean did something against the grain of what the Nitro Series has been doing the past few years. Instead of blowing it off and keeping it dry, keeping it hard, letting it groove up, we watered it. We watered the crap out of it.
Okay.
And let it loam up. We didn't blow it off. The only thing we did to that track was water it. We watered it before the round, and we watered it halfway through the round.
Okay.
He had the equipment to do it properly. We had 5 hoses.
Nice.
And it took us 10 minutes to do it.
Okay.
The water got sucked in right away, but it kept it loamy, and it kept the track solid. There's no real blowouts.
It didn't rut up and blow out?
The only place it blew out was you had a step up 180 corner similar to Starbucks. Remember how Starbucks blew out?
Yeah.
That blew out, but not as bad.
Okay, and it was a low-speed section?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a dive-in hard.
Mm-hmm. But it wasn't a sweeper or something where you're trying to blast through it. Okay.
Correct. And once they figured out the tires, I mean, the track was probably a second slower.
Right.
But once they figured out the tires, so like instead of running like a double D style pin, they're running like city blocks, subcultures.
Yeah, basically, to me, that sounds like you go back to like 2006, 2007. You run crime fighters, bow ties,
that was it.
Stuff like that. Yeah,
that was it. And you know what? One, at the end of the buggy A main, you still had 3/4 of your tires left.
Yeah.
And it created really, really tight racing.
Okay.
The Truggy main was 1/10 of a second. Tony Sletton beat Seth Van Dalen by 1/10 of a second.
Drag race down the straightaway?
No, because it was a corner right before the loop.
Oh, okay.
So it was around that corner.
So Tony would dive bombing in there and blast.
No, Seth would dive bombing in there trying to blast in there.
Okay.
And Tony just held. It was really cool, and I'm really happy that we did stuff like that. So let's.
They have it broke out by class. So
let's talk about the A mains.
Pick a few.
Let's talk about the A mains. Let's see. Pro 4, that was close. Pro 4 is a 2 A main deal. I don't know what it. I forget what the final results were, but I know the racing was real between Tony Sletton and Josh Ford. Pro Light A main. Noah Maddox won that, zero problem. He was fast. Tony Marks took Eric Marks' buggy, took second. Andrew Mowry third. Trevor Johnson fourth. Nothing real special happened there. That was a 15-minute main. Let's go to the next one. A-scale buggy A main. Seth Van Dalen broke out. That was a bummer. They were battling for the lead. It was both Truggy and buggy was a 3-way battle for the lead, and then something happened to the third person.
Okay.
And Neil gets up into second.
Well, Tony was up there, but they decided to try a fuel gun for the first time. And instead of counting to 4, Tim counted to 3, and they ran out of gas halfway through the race, and Tony had to play catch-up.
That's an interesting approach to using a fuel gun, because the way I understand the use of fuel guns, and I've used them a few times, is you open the lid, put the gun in, pull the trigger, and wait until you see the fuel stop draining out of the gun.
That's what I do. Yeah, that's what I do. And they also weren't using the Team Losey gun. The Team Losey gun is the gun to have right now.
Okay.
Well, you know how it is. There's always the thing.
Right.
And
that's strange.
Yeah, it is. But
you shouldn't even need to count to 3. It's usually a 1.5 to 2 second fuel fill.
If it took 3 seconds to fill up, I'd just.
I think they were running a funky. Right. They were running a funky gun too, and they had never practiced with it.
Good time to try it. Right?
Yeah,
sure. Why not?
Well, that's what Tim said. Tony was persistent. I'm like, yeah, I suppose Tim didn't want to do it, but he did it. Yeah. But Josh Ford won that one easily after Tony ran out of gas. Neil took second, pretty good for Neil. Yep. Tony Sletton third, Noah Maddox fourth. Noah's selling his MP9 right now, TKI 3, for dirt cheap because he wants to be Neil's designated pitman. Because Neil, and I saw it, Neil was losing about 5 seconds a pit spot.
5 seconds?
5 seconds. It was
Who's
literally
this pit
that.
guy now?
I don't know who it was. I forget. But they take it with the bottle. So you're losing a couple seconds there and go super slow because they don't want to spill fuel in the car.
I suppose.
For me, I ain't. See, well,
you can still get a good fuel fill with a bottle as long as you don't foam the fuel.
Yeah, I'm very quick with the fuel bottle myself, but I pitted for you before, and I've gotten you out fast. This was a few years back, but I've gotten you out fast. But I know I got splash in your car, but I ain't care.
I don't care about that
either.
But
yeah. But they were worried about Neil's car, and Neil's probably like, I don't care either.
Right.
But he was losing serious time on pit road.
Yeah, that's no good.
And then it was Dan Williams 5th, Nick Moxley 6th, John Huttner 7th, Nate Smith 8th, Tony Swenson 9th, Darren 10th, Seth 11th, and Ryan Sobchak 12th.
Cool to see Moxley making the trip down from Canada.
Yeah, it's always good to see
Moxley.
Four-wheel drive sportsman named Maine, Zach Van Dalen won that, no problem. But Kyle Proske, newcomer, came in second. We talked about him when the Super Saturday at North Branch. Pro 2A Maine, Seth had his hands full with that truck. He barely beat Trevor Johnson out by a second and a half, and Trevor was doing very well. He led a lot of that race, and it was John Huttner third, Chris Murch fourth. Chris Murch is one of those MMR guys. He's been traveling around a lot with Chris Malooly and Andrew to a lot of these races, and it's cool to see them guys get out and explore a bit. Joe J made the trip down. He just got married, so I'm kind of glad to see he made it. Justin Hazy, your newest Techno driver, took 6th in Pro 2. Got on with Techno, and you know what his comment was? They're not making me stock the local hobby shop with their parts. Because that was what
novel.
Yeah, well, that's what Team C wanted them to do.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Team C goes, we'll sponsor you, but you got to stock the local hobby shop. Or you pay for it, or the local hobby shop guy pays for it. And he's like, no. But Darren took 7th, David Ohm 8th, Mckenzie Ohm 9th, Joe Parent 10th, Chris Malooly 11th. Chris Malooly got hurt because he had his Tekin plugged in, and I delayed the main. I couldn't wait any longer.
Okay.
He had his Tekin plugged in before the main, and he reversed it somehow. I don't know how. And no, he didn't blow it up.
Okay.
But they had to go back in the trailer, put it on hot wire and all. And it's Truggy Main. Tony Sletton won it by .09.
Oh man.
Yeah. It was one hell of a main. Third, he was a little bit down, but something happened to him. I don't remember exactly. But I remember he had to pick his way through.
Okay.
Tony Marks 4th, Dan Williams 5th, Sobchak 6th, Swenson 7th, Junker 8th, Iggy 9th, Sean Nowak, another Canadian, took 10th, Stefan Bedende 11th, and Nate Smith 12th. You know, the bottom three broke.
Okay.
Seth have a big bobble in that race?
Oh, he had a couple.
Because he looks really fast.
Oh, he was. He was it. I'll tell you what, he was able to make up a 25-second deficit in 10 minutes or so.
Jeez.
Yeah, his
that's fast.
Yeah,
his top 5 is a second faster than everybody else.
I know, but the thing is, Tony didn't make the mistakes.
Yeah.
But I mean, if Tony made one half of a mistake, Seth would have won that. Two-wheel open We actually had a class for it.
Is he running truck or buggy?
He was running an RB6 buggy. He won that no problem. It was a cluster of a start. I was going to restart it, but everybody got out and going pretty quick. I mean, it's a pile up, but it situated itself.
Okay.
If that makes sense. I think Seth was the only one that needed to be Marshall, and hey, he won it with 2 laps. Two-wheel drive sportsman A main, Travis Newman, another newcomer, won that one. He beat Zach Van Dalen. Greg Johnson took 3rd. Brody, that's Iggy's son, took 4th.
Cool.
Yeah, Brody's been doing pretty well.
Cool.
Yeah, Janelle 5th, Joe Lutz 6th, and it is Travis House 7th, Deb Ford 8th, Vicky Spicer 9th, and then that is all the finish, whatever. And then this is Pro 4 A2. Pro 4 is whatever. I don't know if he's got the results correct.
Did you guys go to like a motocross format for Pro 4? Where
Yeah.
it's like twin mains?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they weren't getting the run time for the entry fee.
Right. Okay.
So we gave them 2 8-minute mains. And
Okay.
that
Cool.
works out pretty well.
Cool.
And then whatever, it's pretty good racing going on. The number 2 A main, Josh Ford, won it by 6/10 over Tony Slenton. So Tony Slenton was having a heart attack by the end of the day.
Poor kid.
Yeah, yeah. He does handle pressure pretty well. And then
Yeah.
A-scale electric buggy, we actually had a class for it this time.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, barely.
Okay.
Yeah, Neil Fenice won it, no problem.
Good.
Noah Maddox 2nd, Nick Moxley 3rd, Kennison 4th, Aaron Wozleski 5th, Rufus 6th, and Jay Hedstrom never showed up.
Okay.
All right, that should do it for MNRC. I'm very happy with the way he kept his track, because it did create for less tire wear, less money.
Okay.
The track was just a little slower, but who cares?
If it doesn't blow out, I mean, that's really
Yep.
the biggest concern I would have.
It didn't blow out, and the racing was still tight.
Yeah, as we saw.
So yeah,
For
it's
sure.
like who cares if you're a second slower a lap? Everybody is.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. So let's.
So look, what we have here left. Before we jump into kind of the upcoming events, Junior, you want to talk about Reedy LRP?
Well, Marshall has some information, but everybody knows by now AE and LRP ended their 18-year relationship, and then that RC10 picture that they released, that's got to be the new Reedy Speedo.
It is a prototype.
Yep.
That's basically one of their test mule speed controls.
Okay.
The information I've got right now, it's not real juicy, but basically there will be speed controls coming
Yep.
from Reedy, so it'll be more than one. Sounds like there'll be a full race speed control and probably a sportsman level speed control.
Hopefully a good 1S.
That I don't know.
Okay.
But there's also going to be chargers coming from Reedy, including
Cool.
a touchscreen.
Awesome.
I don't know about power supplies, although I would expect them to create one.
Yep.
The time frame I've been told so far is they're supposed to be going to production this month, and we will probably see them right near the end of the calendar year.
Okay.
Don't know if that'll actually happen or not, but as soon as they're available, I'm going to start testing them. Rick Howard made the
Yep.
comment they could be delayed because they're going to be extremely careful to get these right.
Good. I've always dug Reedy products.
Yep. So it may be a little while before we see these things, but yeah, I'm excited to see those and get them in the car and run.
I
and
have
see
a
how they go.
question, though. Do you think this has the LRP SXXV2 debacle?
It could be.
Because that was a big
That was bad.
mistake.
Yeah, that was bad, and it's really unfortunate too, because LRP had built a history of producing really good stuff.
And the flow's great.
The flow is fantastic. It feels noticeably better. It's smoother than the SXXs were. The brakes are better.
Yep.
It's an aluminum case Speedo, so
Yep.
it doesn't get hot. So they're fantastic speed controls, but
Might have been too little, too late.
possibly it's not too little. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Because the speed control's awesome, but It might have been too late, but Reedy, their business plan is to get out and get into new products. So I mean, they've done motors forever, they've done batteries, they've gotten into the nitro area. Now they're doing the speed control thing. So it's exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
I've also been a fan of LRP. And I'm kind of curious to see where they're going to go from here, because they're going to open up their own hub in America, allegedly.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I want to see if they keep developing.
I'm sure they will.
I just want to see what they keep coming out with, and I hope that they don't release their line of cars in the United States and try to shove them down our throats. Because if you've ever been to the German site, which I know you have, but I'm not sure Gerten has, dude, those cars, man, they don't look good.
Well, I mean,
just say they don't redesign a car.
Well, that'll sort itself out. It would surprise me if they made a push to sell cars here, but we'll see.
I just don't want to see local racers. I don't want to sound like a jerk, but I don't want to see local racers wasting their money on something inferior when they could buy a great Losi or a great Associated or a Kyosho.
Well, the local knowledge that somebody can get from the hobby shops or going to the track and talking to people is always going to be there. So, if LRP releases cars and they're not up to the level of the competitive cars, we'll find out. And if anybody asks, we'll be able to tell them. So I'm not worried about that. I'm sure LRP will keep developing stuff. They'll bring out new things, but it's just that it's going to be a different way to get their products now instead of getting them from Associated.
So for the AE sponsor drivers, especially like coming into the Worlds in a week or two, do you expect to see them with a prototype?
I really doubt it. I would be shocked if anybody was running a prototype.
You think it'll all still be LRP in their car?
Yeah, I'm sure that the guys that have been running LRP will continue to run LRP. I'm sure that Howard and Sean Cochran and some of the guys at the shop in California are testing stuff weekly with club racing stuff, but
nothing ready yet for that.
Unless they've got something that they know is solid and they've already tested it, I really don't think you're going to see it in the cars.
Are you going to be with Live RC for the Worlds?
I am.
Sweet.
I'm sorry, not the World. Sorry,
okay,
I misspoke. I'm doing Nationals next week.
Okay,
so Electric Nationals from Silver Dollar.
Cool.
I'll be doing the remote call for that. Have not sorted out Worlds. Would like to. That'd be cool.
Well, you know what? I mean, I'd like to get my shot at a Live RC race one of these days. I actually sent a PM to Rhodey and he never responded, but
that's nothing new.
Yeah. Well, he probably gets a million of them a day from people like me. I mean,
he's a really, really busy guy.
He knows who I am from racing at TCHR and all that stuff, but I doubt he knows that I've become an announcer. All that stuff. But you did the Texas Nationals. We meant to talk about that last time. We never got to it. Or not last time, but the time before. Besides being hot, how was that?
It was an interesting race. It was real hot. The AC in the trailer didn't work.
Nice.
That wasn't that much fun. Now the most frustrating thing is I got home, jumped on the scale right away, didn't lose a single pound.
Well, that's because he quit smoking. You're lucky to have maintained.
Yeah. But the racing itself, really high speed track. They were ripping around that track, and the track was very difficult on the cars because there were 2 or 3 sections on that track where the fast line was to jam that car into something. So they had a triple double in front of the driver's stand, and the fast line was to launch it off the last double.
Okay.
But the dirt there was Texas clay.
Yep.
And it was hard as a rock. And so if you launched it off of the last double, it was fast, but you're slamming the car into the ground.
Yep, that's not good.
There was a section where you jumped a table to a camelback or a hip jump.
Yep.
The fast line there was to launch the table and land the car at the face of the camelback.
I'm glad we don't make tracks like this, Ron.
Right. And so the that was very difficult on the cars. The grip was high, so there was one other section where it was kind of a table turnstile thing, and you with a lip right on the last portion of that. So basically, you jumped off of this thing and dropped about 2 feet and landed on the straightaway full throttle.
Yep.
And with the grip there, that was very tough on the drivetrains.
Yep.
And it cost
cost
Tessman his buggy title.
Yep.
You snapped a CVD.
Yep.
Even though he was driving cautiously.
Yep. And Drake won.
Yeah, Drake won.
Which is good to see an old, well, I can't say old, but he is older compared to a lot of those kids.
Yeah, but he did what he does. He got fuel economy. He was able to run 10 minutes easily.
Yeah.
Turns out, I heard afterwards that he had timed one fuel tank in practice out to 12:30.
Nice.
So ran
so
10
you can
minutes
even
stops.
end up upside down and still make 10 minutes.
Yeah, he was. So basically, he was trying to manage a gap to Tessman until Tessman broke. And at some points, he had fallen off of that gap, but then had made it back up. So he was in position to win regardless. But Tessman breaking out just kind of.
Drake's been kind of hot this year in the nitro scene again. I mean, he's always there, but he's been kind of hot.
Yeah, and he seems to be a Roar Nationals specialist.
Okay.
He can win anywhere, of course.
Yeah.
And he has won everywhere, of course.
Yep.
But you see him kind of appear at Roar Nationals and get right to the sharp end.
Yeah.
So, he pulled it off. There were complaints about the track because the dirt was hard, because the layout was such that it was hard on the cars, and the guys didn't like that. But it was a very interesting event.
What was frustrating to me, talking about this is a different event, but on the world's warm-up race, what was frustrating is the drivers complaining about the grip before they sugared it. Couldn't they figure something out?
I didn't study the situation enough.
I've watched practice.
It sounded like they had a spec tire, though, and they were trying to make the track work for the tire instead of changing the tire.
There was kind of a double whammy going on here.
Well, that's a mistake right there.
Because before the world's warm-up, my understanding was they had a certain kind of dirt in there that had very high grip that didn't require sugar, I guess.
Yep.
But it, chowed tires, and somebody made enough of a complaint about this isn't real off-road.
Yep.
That they said, okay, we're going to change the dirt. And we're going to put this dirt in that we know if we run it, water it, and just keep running it, we don't need to prep it. But for something happened after that where they didn't water it, or they spec tire, or what have you, and the cars were literally undrivable. A video of practice there, and the cars were undrivable.
And that's probably because of a spec tire. If they didn't have the spec tire, I'm sure they could have found something that worked.
Yeah, they were trying to run, I think it was a Proline Suburb, on a track that had dust on it. And
that's not going to work at all.
Yeah, you can't. And so
that's why we weren't on barcodes yesterday.
And so that the blowers came out, the sugar went down, and they were able to get around the track after that. What I'm curious to see is what they do for Nationals next week.
Yeah,
I'm very curious.
He already said he's going to sugar for the Worlds.
Right, they have to now.
Because that's the consistent. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. I would like to see what he's doing for the silver dollar.
It'd be neat to see them actually not sugar it because of the idea of keeping it a little bit newer for the world.
I would like to see that. You're exactly right. I hope that they're going to do something very different for track prep for Nationals, because if they don't,
that'd be a second warm up for that.
It's a Cab Tessman Mayfield Tebow show, and that's it. There's like no chance for these other guys to get to the very top end.
Exactly.
So it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
So make sure you watch LiveRC.com's coverage of the Aurora Nationals next week.
Definitely.
When do you leave for that?
I take off Thursday night. I'll be going to Green Bay and doing this from Brody's house.
Oh, you're doing from his house.
Yeah, so what they're doing is they've got cameras. Most of the crew will be at the track.
Yeah.
All the cameras are there, and they're going to pipe the video back to
Venezuela. Tried.
Yeah, they did that for
tried.
Venezuela Argentina.
Argentina,
Sorry.
okay.
8 scale worlds. They tried it for that. Didn't work out too well because they couldn't get internet connection there. But they did do this for another event. I'm trying to remember which one, and that seemed to work out well. So this will be interesting.
Yeah.
I'll be by myself.
Oh.
It'll be me and Eric Jensen doing the production work.
Oh,
there.
yeah.
But everybody else, no Scotty, no Charlie. It'll be the Marshall show.
Oh, cool.
So
cool.
we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, I don't go like totally NPR and just make everybody fall asleep.
Yeah.
But it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that.
Eric was saying he was leaving Tuesday, and that's why he couldn't come and do the podcast because he's spending time with the old lady.
Uh-huh.
I don't blame him there.
Yeah.
I for nationals, but
yeah, it's going to be exciting. It's always very close racing amongst 8-10 guys, so it's going to be really fun to watch.
yeah. All right. Next thing I want to talk about before I'm going to string this into the upcoming events section, but I'll start out with it because it's next Saturday, August 10th. There's a fair race that Sean Van Dalen holds at the Benton County Fairgrounds in St. Cloud.
Mm-hmm.
I went last year thinking, I went with the proper tires. I went with Schumacher grass tires,
Okay.
yellow mini spikes.
Okay.
But I went with the idea of this is going to suck, but I'm going to go support Sean.
So you went with the right attitude.
Well, we all do it. I'm not going to lie. Every racer does it. Every racer goes with not all the time. Sometimes with the attitude, this race is going to suck, but I'm going to go support so and so.
Okay.
And I brought my wife and kids with because it was the Benton County Fair. Mm-hmm. Well, it was Kids Day, which this one will be Kids Day too.
Okay.
So it'll be great to bring your family, but the racing action was frickin' awesome.
Cool.
It was so close. If you had the right tires on, it was so close, and it was literally grass with wooden jumps. It sounds silly.
No,
but
you do it right.
He did it right. Mm-hmm. He made the jumps reasonable. There was a big triple with a big kicker for a launch pad in the back, right by the bleachers, just to get people oohing and eyeing.
Yeah.
Which it was tough to hit right. That was the only tough one, but it was a very fun layout. Huge crowd.
Cool.
The 4-H people were getting pissed because we were stealing their crowd. But yeah, it's a great time. Last year it was free to get in.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's still free. I mean, entry fees are probably your normal 15 to 20 for the first, and then whatever for the second and third.
Okay.
3 rounds of rocket round, which
that actually works on a grass surface.
it does. Rocket round works on the grass surface, and then the main. But somewhere in between there, he's going to do a freestyle show to where he's got some of his carpet jumps set up to where you can double up one of the doubles and make a giant
big jump. Okay.
One big jump, and you're getting literally 15 feet of air with an A scale.
Jeez.
Stupid.
That's almost as big as the old X Games or X Fest jump.
Yep, yeah. Literally, I mean, it's not nearly that tall, but it was just giving you so much lip. You're hitting at full speed with an A scale. Mm-hmm. Seth was doing double backflips. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Seth Pastrana.
Yeah. And then what was scary was we didn't know what was going to happen, but there's no real crowd around. But what was scary, Luxick started taking his Lozy 5T off of it.
Oh, boy.
Nothing bad happened. He didn't get close to anybody.
Okay, that's good.
But we're like, this is a big,
it's a bad idea.
Truck.
It's a bad idea.
But no, it's a blast. And bring your family. Bring the right tires. Like I said, I like on my 4-wheel buggy, I like the Schumacher mini
pins.
No, mini spike.
Really?
The mini pins. My dad tried them, and he ended up going to the mini spikes because they were too much like an Ifmar pin fuzzy. The pins weren't big enough, and they weren't spread out far enough. You really got to grab that grass and kick it.
And now you could probably use the new Proline carpet tire.
Yeah, Proline's got a carpet
some
tire.
of those other ones
I actually
too.
need to try those out for MMR. It'll be interesting to see how they work. Just a quick note about the Schumacher tires. If you want to go, don't have the tires, don't know where to get them, call Hub in Richfield, Hub Hobby.
Yep.
The Hammond works down there now, and he has focused. He's focused on getting Schumacher tires into the metro area to run. So check and see if they've got them. I can't guarantee they've got them, but they might.
I'm glad the hobby shop finally hired somebody knowledgeable.
Well, it's not the first time that's happened.
I know, but it's been a long time. They just don't last
there that long.
Right.
Well, no, it's been a long time since it's happened. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And I know Aiming has them. I checked on Stormer. Stormer does not have them. Yeah. But I think you can run D-Bots or D-Boots.
They're a different tire. They're softer than,
they're softer.
than Schumachers.
I'm running the yellow compound. That's softer than blue.
Yeah, I don't remember which one.
I think yellow is the one that we have been running.
That's what I know. You run that at MMR, and basically either of those compounds are stiff enough because those are tires where you run them on grass, and it's the physical stiffness of the pin on the tire that gives you your traction on grass. So I think either one would work. But just check with Hub, see if the tires are out there.
Yep.
And go from there.
Yeah, I run open cell J-Con and ones.
Yep.
You don't want to run I mean, there's no real reason to even run closed cell in them.
Yep.
Because they're so stiff, they're not going to collapse on the foam.
Right.
But let me bring out my calendar here. Let's talk about upcoming events.
And one of the things, too, while you're getting that ready, the end of the month here in August, there will be a race down in Iowa for the Hobby Haven.
That's Labor Day weekend.
Yeah. So there's a practice all day Friday, racing Saturday, and then AAA mains on Sunday.
Before you announce too much of it, also a reminder, there's only like 15 or 20 entries left open.
Yeah.
So if you haven't signed up, you better do it now. And those are paid entries.
Yeah. Yes, so those are likely people. There are a couple, I think, that are going to be canceled.
Yep.
So you probably have another week or so. Mm-hmm. But if you want to go, definitely sign up. And if you're looking for ways down there, there are a group of people that had been planning on going. So assuming everything still works,
yep.
I know there's a lot of people that are going, dropping. I mean, obviously it's a month before the race, so things are still changing. But if you're looking to go, either contact me or somebody around here. And
John Weeda also.
John's another one. Josh Sinclair. We can definitely get some carpooling together or other things. If I know we got a lot of younger kids that are around right now. If you guys are looking for ways to get down there, let us know.
Yep.
It'll be worth the trip. It's fun to run with the Iowa guys. They love racing with us. They put on a good show. They're very friendly. It's the track is good. It's worth the trip for sure.
Yeah. They have a great turnout for stock buggy, stock truck, and then they've also run mod buggy and mod truck as well.
Yep. I'd love to go, but Labor Day weekend's my first weekend, non-RC weekend in like 2 months.
Yeah.
I kind of got to take that and go do something with the family. Maybe go to something besides RC. Maybe go to the state fair because that closes Labor Day.
Yeah. Yep.
Something, but I would really love to go, and I got plans for next year doing it. It's just I can't make it happen this year.
It's something for the local guys here that haven't traveled. They blow off the track every heat, race.
They do it right too. They got 5 electric blowers. Mm-hmm. And when you go out in Marshall, you grab one of those blowers, do your section.
Just and like literally, trackside.
It takes a minute.
Yeah, just like trackside.
So the traction levels, it's a black dirt, but at the same time, it is going to be a fairly high bite. Mm-hmm. People looking for a big race, if you have that weekend open, it's definitely looks like a fun race to go to.
Yep. All right, let's get through this here. So August 10th, next week, is the fair race. And also remember, there's club racing every Thursday night in Proctor and every Sunday at Wheel Brokers in Pine City. Tuesday and Sunday at Pine City in Wheel Brokers. And I'll tell you what, he's got a good little thing going there.
Yep, I love running there. It's
I can't wait till our final event.
It's kind of the newest incarnation of a guy who has the land, opens the track, and he really was open to suggestions from his customers on what to do with the track to make it better.
Yep.
And it's worked out.
Yeah.
The track is really fun to run on. He keeps the program moving. He's got a stocked hobby shop. He's got tires there. He's really friendly. It's a great place to run.
Yeah, you gotta love it when they keep the program moving.
Yeah, you're not there. I've been up there for a few Sundays now, and you're done by 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. So
that's
you're not
right.
done all. You're not there till sundown.
That's right. I mean, that's the way it should be. And you know what? Any race director listening to me now, if you have 10 heats and you run 3 rounds of qualifying, there is no reason it should take you past 5 o'clock. That is my public service announcement to all the race directors out there.
Well, he starts at noon, so.
Oh, well, that's even quicker.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, really, I enjoy the 10 o'clock start time.
Yeah.
A lot of people are pinched for practice or whatever. Yeah. Well, not a lot. Some people are pinched for practice. Yeah, but, I mean, get out there. Get up soon. Get up earlier. Get to the track sooner. That's my best suggestion. I think at Wheel Brokers, if it's any indication last year, I might have to control practice a little bit.
Yeah, maybe.
Because the driver's stand fits 9 still, right?
Yeah, the driver's stand is small.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it's 9 or 10, but the driver's stand's pretty small. So you might need to control practice.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
And last year we had 100 entries, and it was packed.
And I bet this year's bigger.
Yeah.
Probably.
It's not a secret anymore. Right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like my race kind of brought Wheel Brokers out into the light. You should have seen Jimmy's face when all those people showed up. It's like, what am I going to do?
Yep.
Yeah. But anyways, weekend of August 7th, that is the round number 5 for the MNRC up in Proctor. That's your Nitro Series, but they also run a bunch of electric classes there. And we were there yesterday. The Proctor track is awesome. The layout is great.
Yep. Hit scales will love that layout.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Definitely. Yep. There's no stupid jumps that they're going to screw their cars up on. And it's a great track. Then the weekend after that, the weekend of the 24th, 25th, is going to be the Utter Madness Classic. That's whatever. Then the weekend after that, Labor Day weekend's Iowa race. And then September 14th is going to be the final Super Saturday Electric Series race of the season. A lot of points battles, all that. And that's going to be at Wheel Brokers in Pine City. I had to give him the final event because he put on such a good show last year.
Yep. I think, he needs to be on the calendar somewhere.
Yeah.
Regardless, because he's really done a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Can't say enough about it.
Yeah, exactly. Last year I held it 2 weeks earlier in September, but that was my second to last round. But it's like everything worked out just so perfect. You didn't race it, but you came up and watched, and you wished you had raced it.
Yeah, I couldn't race that day, but I was able to visit.
Yeah.
And took Tony Slutton's Cheater Pro 4 truck.
Yep.
Went out, ran one of his qualifiers, and the track was fantastic. It's smooth. The layout was not crazy. There was no weird stuff on it. You could race on it. It was terrific.
You know what's nuts? He got the calcium so perfect that I think I was running 13 or 14 heats. I go out there in between rounds with the leaf blower. The only place I was getting a little bit of pebbling was in between the jumps.
Yeah.
There was absolutely nothing else.
Yep.
There was no need to leaf blow at all that whole day.
There'll be another one where the tires are going to be really key, knowing whether you're going to, depending on if it grooves, depending on the weather, sun,
weather,
things like that.
If the weather's good, it's going to groove.
Yeah, there's no doubt then. And at that point, probably want to make sure you have some orange compound tires.
I've been hearing orange barcodes on the 2-wheel.
I was up there a couple weeks ago, and I finally tried orange compound tires, and The day we were up there, I think the temps were in the low to mid 80s, and it was bright sunshine, so the dirt was warm.
Yep.
My understanding of the orange compound J Concepts tires is you're supposed to run them when the dirt's warm.
Yep.
They don't work as well when the dirt's
Cool.
Cool or only like skin temperature.
Yep.
Hybrids and 3Ds both worked on the back.
Yeah.
3Ds were more locked in than the hybrids, but the hybrids are still drivable.
Yep.
I would say if you're going to bring those, bring either one. They should both work. Tire wear, not too much of an issue. You will go through a set over the day.
Yep.
But I don't think you might want to have two pair.
Yeah.
And what would you look at if you weren't, say, September, middle September? It may not be that hot.
Right.
What if it was 70 degrees or 75 like yesterday?
70, 75, and the track's grooved up hard. From J Concepts, the blue compound should still work. If it's cooler than that, if it's unseasonably cool, 50, 60 degrees, or it's overcast, then greens will work.
Okay.
So you
have to have a wide variety of tires with you.
You should. Yeah, it's kind of...
Or really watch the weather.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, watch the weather, understand what the day's going to be like.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's the thing why I've been thinking about orange compound literally for a year now. Because Sean Van Dalen in 4 Mod was the only one out there with orange barcodes last year. And he crushed everybody.
Yeah.
Crushed everybody.
Yeah.
We didn't have anything close, and
I think Miko's telling us we're done.
Yeah, Miko's like, my turn for attention.
Miko has destroyed the rawhide that we gave him.
Yeah, hold on. Is that gone?
Yeah, it's gone. We gave him about a 24-inch long rawhide.
It was thick.
That's gone. So now he's looking for attention, and he's knocking the mic around. So I think he's pretty much over it.
Yeah.
He's run out of talent.
Yeah, we've ran out of talent. So I'll get the times down for this episode.
We're still working on the iTunes thing. I have to submit it, have them listen to it, and whatever else.
It's a stupid process. So until next time, I'm Joe.
And this is Greg.
I'm Marshall.
And we've ran out of talent.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
See ya.